By now, you should know that there are three different types of linear equations that can be written for a linear function. So we got point slope form, slope intercept form, and standard form. And we use each one given the type of scenario we're working with. So you want to be able to go in and out of any of these types of forms. I have 2 points given to you up here, point A and point B. We're going to figure out how to write a point slope. We're going to figure out how to write a slope intercept or a standard with this given information, because sometimes point slope's beneficial. Other times we just want to throw it into slope intercept form. And then standard form comes into play as well. So how do we write each one of these? Let's break it down so you can make any of the three types of linear equations your teacher's asking. So here are our 2 points. First thing we're going to want to find is the slope. Let's figure out what the slope of this line is by taking the information in these 2 points, finding slope. Once we have slope, we'll be able to create point slope form and slope intercept form, because all we need is a point and a slope to write point slope form. We'll use this form to then create slope intercept, and then we'll use slope intercept to then create standard, and it'll just go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what is our slope? Our slope is our change in y over our change in x. So how are our y values changing? We're going from -3 to 5. So we want to say -3 minus 5. Remember, take y2 minus y1. And then we'll put on the bottom 6 minus 2, because that's x2 minus x1. Okay, so that's 6 minus 2. One more time. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 gives us the slope that we're looking for. That's a very important piece of information we need. Okay, -3 minus 5, that takes me to -8 over 6 minus 2 takes me to 4. -8 divided by 4 is -2. So we now know our slope is -2, and that's what I'm going to want to plug in for m, because m represents the slope. X1 and Y1 are just one of the 2 points. You can choose this point or this point. It does not matter. So all I need to do now is take this number, -2, put it where the m is. -2 goes where m is. I got parentheses. I got an equal sign. I got a y that's going to remain right there. I got an x that's going to remain right here. These 2 empty spaces, if you look up, minus y1 minus x1. So either choose this coordinate, which is an x and a y, or choose this coordinate, which is also an x and a y. It doesn't really matter which one you use. These are both positive numbers, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to take that 2. Remember, we're subtracting y1, so I'm taking away what number? 2. And then I'm subtracting x1. Oh, I put the wrong number there. Sorry. Choose my x. My fault. Think about that. Y is a 5, so y1, I need 5 there. Okay. x1, we're putting 2. So we're saying minus what value? 2. This is the equation written in point slope form. Okay, so go back, double check, make sure you plugged everything in. So you put x value where x is supposed to go. You put y value where the y value is supposed to go. And you already had found the slope, so that goes in for m. Well, guess what? We need a slope for slope intercept form, hence it's in the name. So we need that value right there. Well, we already know it. It's -2, remember? -2 is the slope that we found right out the gate. So I'm going to say y equals -2, attach the x. We got to figure out what b is. Now, how could I figure out what b is? I can use the point slope form that I already created, right? I already created point slope form. I'm just rearranging information in this equation to look like y equals mx plus b, which is a different form. So how could I do that? I could just clean this up. -2 times x is a -2x. -2 times -2. Remember, we're just distributing here. That's all we're doing. Okay. -2 times another -2 is a +4 equals y minus 5. Notice how this is close to looking like I want it to. I just need this -5 to transfer over to the right side. So we would add 5, cancels, add 5. And what are we going to get over here? We already had the -2x. It's already written down. But 4 plus 5 turns into, you guessed it, 9. Now we have a point slope. We have a slope intercept. The only thing we have left to do is a standard form equation, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. So real quick, point slope, find that one first. Use one of the 2 points after you've already found the slope, -2 in this case. Use this equation, clean it up, and move information to the right side so y is all alone. And then once you've done that, you'll know your B, which is your y-intercept. And then the last thing we got to do is we got to take this one, we're going to use this equation, and we're going to transfer it into a standard form equation. So y equals negative 2x plus 9. What do you notice about standard form? X term and y term are both on the left side. So if I could take this term of negative 2x, get rid of it by adding 2x, add 2x over here. Now I'm going to have a 2x, a positive y, and then a 9 on the other side. Notice I have x and y on the same side, x and y on the same side, with a constant on the opposite side of the equal sign. So 2x plus y equals 9. That's going to be your standard form equation. The way we got this equation is by building off of slope-intercept form. The way we got slope-intercept form was from building off of point-slope form. So you find point-slope form first, use that equation to get slope-intercept, use that equation to get to standard, and now you have all three equations that they're the same. This equation is the same as this equation, which is the same as this equation. They're just in those specific forms that our teachers expect us to be able to put them in. Well, why would my teacher want me to put it in 3 forms? Just teach me 1 form. Why? Why do we want you to do it in all 3? Because if you're talking about 2 items in a total, standard form, boom, that's your game right there. You're going with this guy. If we're talking about a starting point and then constant rate of change thereafter, we're going with slope-intercept form all day, baby. And then point-slope form, that's going to come into play if you don't necessarily have a starting point, but you say like 5 minutes into the race, you were this many yards into your run. Okay, you already have a starting point, but it's not an initial value. This is data somewhere in the race. So that's where you would come into play with point-slope form. Hopefully this makes sense. You got to be good at all 3 of them. Some of them definitely pop up more than others. Okay, slope-intercept form is commonly used at the beginning of algebra, and then we start to introduce standard and point-slope. But I don't know how your teacher went about it, but just know you need to be able to go in and out of all 3 of these forms. Find the slope. Once you have the slope and a point, you have everything you need to get equations that you're being asked to find. Study hard and good luck on your upcoming test.